Welcome to Shojo Tell, where we discuss shoujo manga and tell who's hot and who's not, talk about themes, and just generally geek out. Today, July 25th, 2020, we'll be shoujo and telling about the first 6 volumes of Fushigi Yugi Genbu Kaiden by Watase. I'm your host, Ashton McDonald, and I'm joined by Caitlin.
Hi.
Sarah.
Hey.
And Zahra.
Hi.
All right, yeah. I'm like, Genbu Kaiden is my second favorite manga of all time after, you know, the masterpiece that is MAID-SAMA. So I was like, hey, I'm going to have like everybody come on this podcast. Okay. But yes, I will let you give self-introduction. So we'll start with Caitlin. Who are you, Caitlin?
I'm Caitlin. I am a writer and editor for Anime Feminist. I'm a reviewer for Anime News Network, no longer at the Daily Dot. It's okay.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm a longtime shoujo lover.
Longtime shoujo lover, very key. Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sara Linsley. I'm a freelance manga letterer for Kodansha, Viz, and Yen Press, and I've been doing this since like 2013-ish. You've probably seen my work in Waiting for Spring, Sweat and Soap, and most recently, Fushigi Yugi Byakko Senki.
Okay, Sarah, what is up with the last volume of Waiting for Spring? This is my biggest question. Where is it?
It comes out September, maybe?
Oh my god, it keeps getting pushed back. It's really bothering me. I hate it.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
I finished it. Well, it's not technically the last volume. Like, it's the last volume of the main arc, and then they have like an extra volume.
What? No.
Yeah. I didn't even know that until I was working on it, and I was like, wow, I'm really out of the loop.
Wow, this is really ruining some future podcast plans right now. But all right, moving on. Zahra.
Hi, I'm Zahra. I'm a university student who is about to go into honors, and I'm doing my thesis on josei manga, and I'm an occasional anime writer.
Yay! Okay. Yeah. Good crew here. I love it. Okay. Oh no, I put myself to do the plot synopsis of Genbu. Okay, I can do that. I wrote stuff down. Sure. All right, yeah. So what's Genbu Kaiden about? I mean, people who have read the original Fushigi Yugi like kind of know what Genbu Kaiden is about. But if you haven't, so this one is actually set before the original FY. It is chronologically the first story. It's set in 1923, and it's about a girl named Takiko Okuda, whose mom dies of consumption. It's very key. It kind of kicks everything off. Her dad is a famous writer who was purposely trying to track down the universe of the Four Gods, which is the book that all the priestesses in Fushigi Yugi get sucked into, and, fall in love with boys inside. It's fine. So Takiko hates her dad for, not being there for her mom while she was dying. But he's like, I came and got this book because it grants you wishes, and maybe we can wish mom back to life? Shrug, let's try that. And he's like, I didn't really expect my daughter to get sucked into the book, but okay, like, that doesn't seem great. Because he knows how it ends, but I won't spoil that. I mean, everybody knows, but like, we won't spoil it. So she goes into the book, and it's modeled after, like ancient China. And there's feuding countries, and they're like, the priestess will save us. And also there are 7 warriors who love the priestess and will protect her and have magic powers. But she has to find all of them because they're scattered around everywhere. And they're like, I don't want to be a warrior. I don't know what this means. Why are we the first ones? That's scary. I don't know. I think that's pretty much Genbu Kaiden. That's really like the first volume, and then cascading from there. Okay, so first we should describe our level of familiarity with Genbu Kaiden. Again, I'll go first. So again, Genbu Kaiden is my second favorite manga ever, and
Yay.
I read it when it was coming out, and basically I loved it so much. My friend and I both collected Fushigi Yugi volumes. So I actually originally was buying the first FY, and she was like, oh, there's a new one. I'll go buy that. So we would like, just exchange volumes when we wanted to read each other's stuff. But then at some point she was like, I don't like Watase's new drawing style. And I was like, I love Genbu Kaiden way more than the original FY. So we were like, you just want to like trade volumes? So we just did that, and it was great. So basically, yeah, I still have those original volumes from my friend from when I was like 15. And I used to, when Genbu Kaiden went on a pretty long like hiatus at some point when it was being published, because Watase's health is not good and hasn't been good for a long time. So yeah, so I just reread the first like whatever amount was out like a ton of times when I had less access to manga. Yeah, who should I make go next? I'm gonna pick randomly. Let's go with Zahra.
Okay, so I first read the original FY in high school, so that would have been like, 2010. I would have been like 14, I think. And I had the I've still got their Big Viz editions, like with the 3-in-1.
Yeah.
And they got like really pretty color pages at the back. And for all its like faults, it still has some really strong bits to it, and it's become like a comfort read for me, pretty much. And yeah, I started Gamboo also in my teen years, and I've read it quite a few times.
All right. Sarah?
I'm probably the odd one out because I didn't grow up with the series, and I hadn't really, like, I knew about it, but I wasn't like a mega fan until I got asked to work on Byakko Senki, and then I was like, oh shoot, I gotta read so much manga.
Lots to catch up on.
And then you were like, but this doesn't make any sense without reading Gamboo.
Yeah, so after I started working on Byakko Senki, that was when I was like, I have to read all of this. And that's where I kind of got into the series.
Oh, did you not read the original FY?
No, I did, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was actually interesting rereading Gamboo for this podcast because when I was reading through the series, I was mostly looking for things that would be useful for me lettering. Whereas this time I could really sit down and like enjoy the story and actually pay attention to all the characters. So this was a really good experience.
Yeah, I gotta say, like reading my volumes for lettering, I was like, the lettering is definitely old.
Yeah, 2003 though. I mean, this was back when letterers were literally using like real screen tone and whiteout.
Oh,
like it was
Wow.
a long time ago. So mad props to Rina Mappa.
Yeah, I was just like, I can tell that we could do better now, but I respect it because it's old. And so,
Yeah.
yeah. Caitlin, you were on the original FY podcast, so
I was.
Yeah, what's your Gamboo levels?
I mean, there's not really any big story or anything. I read it through once.
Only once.
Well, I never managed to buy all the volumes, which I'm working on rectifying, but there are a lot of supply issues going on right now.
It's a pandemic.
Yeah.
Fine. I'll give you that one. Yeah, okay, so I, again, like, love Genbu Kaiden more than the original FY, which I feel like is a controversial opinion, maybe. But I just think Takiko is a cooler heroine, and I'm all about them fighty heroines over whiny Miyaka and like whoa.
Oh, no.
Caitlin's
Don't
leaving
throw
her.
Miyaka under the bus.
No. Listen, I don't feel Miyaka in my heart, okay? That's all I'm saying.
They both have different strengths.
Okay, fine. I'll give you that. And then I am just in love with Limdo / Uruki. I would marry him if he was real. No
So
offense
you relate
Asher.
to Takiko on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I just love them. I love them individually. I love them together. I love everything about them. It's just like, I stare at every page that has no words on it. It's just them like kissing or staring at each other. I stare at those pages for so long, you guys. It's ridiculous. Oh my god.
Yeah, the romance in Genbu is a lot slower paced than the original FY.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's not just like, oh, I met Tamahome and hey, what's up? He's hot. We love each other now. That's my remembrance of original FY.
Yeah, she falls instantly and like really hard.
yeah, love with Tamahome. Yeah.
It is a lot slower, but it is also less prone to misunderstandings for misunderstanding's sake.
Oh yes.
Because y'all know I adore the original Fushigi Yugi, one of my favorites of all time, but the constant misunderstandings are one of its biggest flaws. And so I think that I like Tamahome and Miyaka a lot. I think Tamahome is a really good boyfriend, but I do appreciate that once, at least in these 6 volumes, because my memory of the other volumes, to be honest, are kind of hazy. But like Takiko and Limdo are less likely to just kind of squabble and have misunderstandings just for the sake of drama.
Yeah, no. They have misunderstandings for like 2 pages and then they're like, ugh, I love you again, whatever. Like, let's just go.
I think like Miyaka and Tamahome's relationship, it's very kind of like it embodies like the teenage love, I guess, as well. And I guess kind of like the spirit of like, like teenagers, like high emotions and high drama and all that. While Genbu, I guess, is written by like a more like matured Watase, and I think also the readers of Genbu would have been like on the older side too, I think.
Mm-hmm. I think there are a lot of possible factors. For one thing, I know Fushigi Yugi did have a certain degree of editorial interference because Watase is very frank about that in the notes for Fushigi Yugi.
Yeah.
And so I wonder, like, I do think part of it is that Watase is a more mature writer, that she is able to drive the plot without relying on misunderstandings as much. But I do wonder if it is also partially because she had greater creative control in Genbu. Like, it is she had more clout as a creator. She, even considering the unfortunate issues with Arata that happened, where her editor treated her like crap and like made her feel horrible all the time, apparently. And so, but Genbu Kaiden ran in a magazine that was literally just devoted to her work. So,
which is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was called Perfect World. I think that was its name.
Yeah, it's like Fushigi Yugi Perfect World.
Yeah.
And then it moved to Flowers after the big hiatus.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely one of the, I really can't wait for, so Genbu Kaiden and the original FY, all available from Viz in English. Byaku Senki comes out. It will be out by the time this podcast comes out. So yeah, the first
August
volume
4th.
will be out. Yeah, exactly. Sarah's like, I know exactly the time.
I've known this date for months.
Yeah. Pandemic can't stop Byaku Senki from coming out. Amazing. Yeah, so all of it is available from Viz, but definitely I'm so curious someday to read all technically 4 priestesses stories, right? And see the evolution of Watase, especially since Watase has come out as X-gender. According to Shoujo Beats Tumblr, she still identifies as she. You can say they. I don't really care. Whatever. Just I think either is fine. And yeah, just Watase's notes are always like the thing that actually stands out the most in any Watase story, or at least in all the Fushigi Yugi I've been reading again.
She's
just like,
so frank.
Yeah.
I love it. A lot of manga authors are not this honest about like what is going on. But she is just like maybe not doesn't reveal everything, but you can generally get a good idea for what's going on, which is just fabulous. It also makes me worry about her when things are not going well.
I worry about her a lot.
Yeah. Like in that one author's note when she was like, I'm sorry that this chapter sucked, but when I was inking it, I was literally seeing double, and I was just inking it based on instinct, and I was like, oh my gosh.
You're like, sit
the
down.
Manga industry,
yeah,
it destroys people. It's really upsetting, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Watase is actually one of the few people that's really open about it. It's like,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's just going to be so fascinating to watch the evolution of being like, yes, Watase was allowed to do whatever as we progressed, but she got more like less healthy, right? And yeah. I just want to see all this evolution of gender and everything in these FY stories that are told not at all in chronological order, and it's all a mess. I love it. I can't wait for this messiness. But yeah, if you can't tell, if you haven't read Genbu Kaiden, and if you haven't read the original FY, like, what are you doing? Like, go do that. And then, come back to this podcast, because I also think Genbu Kaiden is a lot of fun, just even as, like, you don't need to read the original FY. I guess that's a question we'll answer later more in depth. But yeah, it's just a really good, like, fantasy isekai from a lost time where now isekai sucks. So just go read it. And now we're going to spoil all the things, but also it's only the first 6 volumes. So is it really spoilers? I don't know, shrug. Okay. First, it makes sense to talk about the kajillions of characters, I guess. Because
so many characters.
Because there's, 7 warriors, and they're not the only characters, and that's already a lot of people. So Takiko is our main heroine, and we did talk about her briefly, but yeah, Caitlin, like, how do you feel about Takiko as the one who I think loves the original FY the most?
I mean, I like Takiko. Like, don't get me wrong. I really like Takiko. It is so strange that I generally prefer Miyaka to her, because Takiko is 100% the kind of heroine that I generally attach really strongly to. Like, she's independent and she can take care of herself, and very like intelligent. She's great, but I still love Miyaka.
What?
Okay,
madness.
Like, should I get into it?
Yeah, you can get into it.
Okay, I'll get into it. Because, and I've talked about this, like, in the Fushigi Yugi, like the original series episodes. Like, part of what I really love about original flavor Fushigi Yugi is its rawness, and the way the whole story can sort of be taken as a metaphor for adolescence and its nature as, like, a coming of age story, and how Miyaka comes into her own in it. And I get less of that vibe with Takiko. Like, yes, she has her own issues that she's getting through. She feels like she's abandoned by everyone who she cares about. And that is important. But the sort of the sense of, like, the more polished storytelling of Genbu Kaiden taps less into those, like, very, like, primal sort of relatable feelings. And so I don't connect as strongly to the story. It could also be partially because I read it when I was older as opposed to when I was 12 years old. That could have something to do with it too. But yeah, like, Genbu Kaiden is a good series, but there's a reason that, like, it didn't, like, I don't remember it super strongly when, like, every single detail of the story of the original Fushigi Yugi is etched into my memory.
Wow. Yeah, we were opposite here. Definitely. But I agree. Just, like, overall culturally, I don't think Genbu Kaiden, like, ever really took off, right? Which is a shame and a tragedy in this world. Yeah, Sarah, how do you feel about Takiko?
I think she's the perfect heroine for this story.
Yeah, she can fight and everything, man. Miyaka never. Okay, no, Miyaka had that sword that one time, and that was cool.
Oh yeah, with the lightning.
Yeah, I'll give you that one, Miyaka. I'll give you that one. Okay, like fine. But Miyaka never wielded one of her warriors as a stone Naginata. I'm just saying, that's peak. Yeah, Zahra, how do you feel about Takiko?
Yeah, no, I think she's really great to read about. But like as I said before, it's Genbu has like a more like, chill kind of vibe, I guess, and like with the original FY, it's more kind of like I guess like frantic, and it's kind of energy, and
Yes.
like I still really like Miyaka, and I was looking up like fan like comments on the internet before this, and like so many people compare Takiko and Miyaka, and like they always like attack Miyaka, and it makes me sad.
I mean, yeah. See, I'm trying to grow myself out of that, but I'm just like, oh, yeah, in my heart. But no, the most relatable Takiko moment for what was it? It was like, like her and Uruki are like going back and forth. And Takiko's like, well, I hate you and whatever. And Uruki's like, yeah, I don't love you either. And then she's like, slaps him, and he's like, I don't understand what is happening right now. And I was just like, yeah, Takiko, you don't have to be so hard of like, everybody hates me and I just need to run away now. I'm like, I relate. That's how I was when I was 15. Just like, that type of brat, definitely. I want Takiko to be my best friend, basically. It is definitely a thing. Takiko was in love with Mr. Osugi. And can I just say, like, spoilers for Byakko, I guess, but Mr. Osugi is just robbed entirely.
Yeah, poor guy.
That poor dude. that man. Ooh. Yeah, spoilers, but he dies in volume 1 of Byakko. Wow. Yeah, just wild. And Byakko takes place really soon after Genbu. So oof, he's a nice man, but he gets wrecked very fast. Takiko's dad, he deserves to be slapped.
Inosuke.
He reminds me of like Walter White from Breaking Bad. Like he goes off and does this, and he's like, "I'm doing it because I love my family," but really he's just a really shitty dad.
That escalated way faster.
Oh, sorry. I mean,
fair. Yeah, he definitely. It's like, dude, just say what you're doing. Just use your words. You're a writer. How dare you?
Communicate.
Communicate.
Please communicate.
Please use your words way better. Yeah. Yeah, I would say he doesn't deserve better though. No, his fate is fine. His fate is fine. Spoilers, but his fate is fine. I do like that literally in the span of like 5 pages when Takiko goes back to the real world, they do talk for like 5 seconds, and then they're like, oh, we're cool now, we understand. And she's still like, okay, bye, because I fell in love with a boy in a book, so peace. Like, I'm gonna try to revive mom. I'm like, all right, those are some 16-year-old choices that we're making. Yeah, okay. Then we have best boy ever. Limdo / Uruki. His whole thing is that to use his power, well, he has a lot of things. God, he's just so many things. Okay, so first he is the prince of this mainland that they're trying to save. I'm sorry, I'm very bad at Chinese, but I would pronounce it Beijia or something.
That's probably how I would say that, Beijia.
Yeah, Beijia. That's probably not at all right, because again,
I don't know. I don't know Chinese either.
Nobody knows Chinese here, so go men. Yeah. So he is like a prince of that, but then it was prophesized that he would kill his dad. So his dad's like, haha, well, I'm gonna kill him first, and that doesn't work out very well for him. No, he did not manage to kill Uruki, and then Uruki's like, well, he tried to kill me, so I'm gonna kill him, which also isn't working out very well. But so that's where he's at. And then to use his magical celestial power, which is wind, he has to have the form of a girl, basically. He gets some boobs, he gets a little shorter, like, rounder in face. I really do, man. I love how Watase manages to make him look obviously like Limdo, but yeah, just like, you know, slightly rounder, a little girlier. I'm like, okay, I feel it. And I love him to death. He's just the perfect amount of like masculine, but also then he's like, I change into a girl, and he just like doesn't really seemingly care. He's like, I use this to my advantage. He's like, Takiko, we can be naked together if we're both girls, right? That is fine. It's all good. I'm just like, wow. And I guess Uruki was the first character where like the first like very not super masculine character, like where I was like, oh, I love that he's like gender non-conforming, right? Or whatever. And I'm just like, maybe if younger Ashley had realized this harder, it wouldn't have taken so long for current Ashley to get where she is. Yeah. How do others feel about Uruki?
How do you feel about his mullet?
His mullet?
Yes! I was planning on bringing up the mullet.
I actually love the mullet. I think it's a great metaphor for like his dual gender identity. It works. I'm not going to say that often, but the mullet works.
Wow. Okay.
I mean,
that's what y'all focused on, is this mullet that he has?
Mullets always look better in anime and manga than they do in real life.
Yeah. No, I love all of Uruki's hair. I'm like, yes. Solid. A++.
I do wonder if there was some X-gender
yeah, right?
stuff going on with choosing to make him kind of switch genders.
You know, that's what I was thinking too. I thought there could be like a connection there.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it all just seems like a progression from like Noriko, right? Like there was one author's note that addresses this, where she draws a little picture of Uruki with Tamahome. People apparently wanted that. And then, but in the background, Noriko's there being like, no fair! Uruki can be a girl and a boy. This is, like, he can just turn into a girl. That's not fair. And I'm like, ha, that's so true.
You know, you can see like her evolving thoughts on gender through Uruki.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I think I like Uruki / Limdo, but he kind of is a pretty typical like character type.
Oh yeah,
like the what's the word I'm looking for? Exiled prince. I mean, but it's handled well, you know, and it's okay to deal in archetypes sometimes. Yeah, he's a good boy who's trying his best, even though his best sometimes involves becoming a serial killer.
To be fair, sometimes being their best for all of them involves becoming a serial killer.
That's
it's
true.
not just him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of murders have gone down with this crew.
Yeah. I'm just saying, yeah, like Tomite is not exempt here. Hatsui is not at all exempt here.
No. Inami?
No, none of them have been doing good. Their kill count is very high. So high.
Wow. This is really disturbing when we put it like this.
Yeah. Listen, they didn't mean it.
It's for the good of the country.
It's good. It's good for the country. They didn't mean it. They don't know. They can't control their powers. You know, they were trying to kill them first, self-defense. Yeah, I just think it's very funny how much I love Uruki compared to Tomite, who I'm like, no.
Tomite's kind of a shit.
Yeah, right?
Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to curse.
I'll let you do it because I hate Tomite that much. I felt very distraught when Watase in the side notes was like, if I was a boy, I'd be like Tomite. I was like,
I
know. Get out of town.
He encapsulates all of the worst parts of Toski, I want to say.
Ooh, yeah.
He's a similar character type, like the kind of temperamental boy, but like,
yeah, but he doesn't have any of the good parts of
yeah,
Toski.
no, he doesn't. Like, he's not funny like Toski.
He's not funny. He's not like underlyingly really like upstanding and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, like his like sad backstory is it's the same as all the other warriors. Like, oh no, I couldn't control my powers and accidentally did some murders and
accidentally murdered. Yeah, just accidentally froze the girl who loves me, and then she still loves me even when I unfreeze her. Like, wow, you're lucky, Tomite.
But yeah, no, he's probably the character I like least out of this cast.
Ooh, that's strong words.
Well, of the good guys.
Yeah, no, I still think that's strong words. Just because I don't feel that much towards Hatsui.
Oh, I like Hatsui.
Oh, okay, fine.
Hatsui is shaped like a friend.
Okay.
He's very cute, like a little panda.
I mean, fair. I just feel like something was very off about, like, his intro came in real hard on the, like, serial murderer front, and I don't feel like that was ever appropriately addressed. Like, it's just like, oh, yes, Fen made me kill lots of people, and then it's like, oh, these other people treated me nice, and now I'm just good, and I'm like, okay.
Self-defense?
Yeah, you killed a lot of people. Yeah, I know, but he killed a lot of people, I think. I'm just like, interesting. And then, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like he's also like the one person who we don't really get. Like, this FY definitely interchanges their names much more with their like given name and their warrior name. And I, for the life of me, actually just couldn't even remember Hatsui's given name. They never say it.
I know
they
what
say
it
it
is.
maybe once.
It's Zahra.
Well, yeah, exactly. I was like, you remember?
I do.
Because it's your name.
That's the one reason.
That's lucky. that's coincidence. Yeah, but okay, Zahra, how do you feel about Zahra and Tomite?
Well, I think with Hatsui, like his kind of like character arc, like maybe it was like possibly introduced like earlier in the story as a kind of like reaction against Chiriko's kind of like Chiriko in like the original FY was kind of like tacked on at the end, I think, a little bit, and maybe to kind of like counteract that, Watase had like the child character, the child warrior, like come like in like the beginning-ish of Genbu.
No, yeah, I definitely feel like Watase, I'm just like, Watase, you just haven't nailed how to write the children's stories. That's really what I'm getting from this.
Yeah, because I feel like Chiriko didn't get a whole lot of character development.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't feel like Hatsui gets better character development for sure, but still not amazing, you know?
I just like that his design was based on Moomin.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
You're like,
That's
it's all
really
worth
good.
it for his design being based on Moomin. That's true. Okay, points to Hatsui for that one. Yeah, Sarah, how do you feel about these Tomite and Hatsui?
There's a point that you brought up earlier that they all have like two names, and I thought that was they actually used that a couple times as like a plot point almost in the story, like in volume 5 when they're at that like masquerade dance. Tomite specifically uses the name Hikitsui to address I don't even remember his celestial warrior name to say that like we're just ourselves right now and we're not celestial warriors. And I thought that was kind of beautiful, and them having two names is kind of confusing sometimes, but it is really cool to see them use that as like
I mean, the having two names is something that is more common in certain cultures.
Yeah.
Like, historically, it is something that has been very common in Japan. Like, people just didn't use their real names, or they had ceremonial names, or they had names that they picked up professionally, like in Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju. So I think part of that is cultural, but it is interesting how like it is treated very differently in this than it is in like the original Fushigi Yugi.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm gonna be doing a lot of comparison. Because in the original Fushigi, like they very rarely use their like birth names.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you any of them if you like held a gun to my head and was like, you have to name one original birth name in FY. I'd be like, well, just murder me. Yeah. Just
I mean, Tamahome is so. I mean, I can't remember the Chinese readings whatsoever. Yeah. Like that's not gonna stick in my brain because I'm not familiar with the Chinese language. But like Tamahome is so. Noriko is Ryu, and which actually comes into play in like the stuff with their brother. Toski is Shun. Like, yeah, that's all I can remember. But yeah, but they go by mostly their birth names in this, and part of that is because of the different cultural attitudes towards the celestial warriors, whether they are unfamiliar and feared, as opposed to later when two countries have already gone through it. And so like in Conan, they're like, yeah, the warriors, we know the whole deal with this.
Yeah, they're like, what's up, guys? What? Hey, let's go to war. Let's do it. Yeah, Genbu has always been confusing. Because I always get their names confused. Like, I'll be like, should I call him Limdo? Should I call him Uruki? I don't know. I'm going to say whichever one feels easier to me at the moment. And then, you know.
And then they're spelled differently on Wikipedia.
Thanks, Wikipedia. For nothing.
Yeah, I had a lot of, like, when I was kind of struggling to remember some of their names, I had a lot of trouble because I was going on, like, wikis and it's like, his name is Rimudo. And I'm just like, that is not his name. I know that's not. And now I can't trust anything else. I think the only one who was consistent was Zahra.
Yeah.
Not the person here, Zahra.
Don't worry.
Hatsui saying, when they said it like once. Well, I think it's a good way to be respectful of like people back in these days having more than one name, but also showing the identity crisis between being a warrior and like being yourself. And I just thought it was funny though. There was that one time where they were like I guess they had just met Hikitsu, but you know, at that time, like Chamka / Tomite is calling him MThat. And so like there's a scene where they're all like confronting each other. Like, they meet up, and you know, instead of Miyaka Tamahome from FY, it's just like Chamka, MThat, and then like Tomite and Hikitsu, and then like Takiko, Limdo. Like they just say like every single one of their names, and I'm just like, oh my god, stop! You guys, it's too far. No wonder I could never keep any of your names straight. God. Yeah, and it is interesting. You know, they do try to keep it relatively straight in terms of like, they're like, when we feel like being celestial warriors, we say our celestial warrior name. And when we want to just be regular people, they're like, okay, well, we just use our given names. I do think it's very interesting, when they talk about Uruki in particular, and like, what's his real gender, what's his real name, and all this stuff. And I'm like, I've definitely gotten into, I wouldn't say trouble, but one of the most prominent things when I first met like Asher, who is trans, I went to this group and I was like, well, Asher isn't Asher's real name, right? Like, I used the term real name. And then,
no.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't dead name him, but I was just like, you know, it's not his real name. And then somebody else in the group was like, no, it is his real name. It's not his legal name. And I was like, point to you. Yes, like, you got me. Correct. And then, yeah, even in talking about Watase being X-gender, it does seem a little like the Tumblr for Shoujo Beat said Watase's preferred pronouns are she, her. And I know that now there is becoming pushback on the use of the terminology preferred pronouns, because it's like, well, they're either your pronouns or not. Like, you don't prefer them. They're just like your pronouns. That's how you want to be grounded in your identity. So I'm like, okay, yes. Every 5 years, I have to be updated on the LGBTQ proper evolving lingo so that I don't upset some people.
It changes fast, and it's good
fast
to try to stay on top of it, but it does take some active effort sometimes.
But yeah, so there's a lot of exploration. But this is also a manga from the early 2000s, so give it a little bit of credit.
Yeah, it was also translated in the early 2000s, so
yeah,
I wonder how some of these lines would have been translated in 2020 as compared to 2004.
Ooh, that's true. Especially everything. I know we're getting a little ahead, but we can talk about like Inami. Everything with the brothel. I'm like, this does feel a little bit off. Sometimes in ways that I can't really explain, but it just felt like okay, this story. I mean, it is the part where Watase was also like, I was just inking like cross-eyed, right? So there's definitely that part of it where it's like, okay, Watase wasn't feeling too good at this point in the story. But yeah, there's all the stuff where Tomite is, or like Uruki's like, you're gonna be my pimp, Tomite, and just like all this crazy stuff, and I'm like, okay, this part feels a little insensitive, yeah. But going back to our order of warriors, we have Namame, who is a rock. So
it's good to have agender, asexual representation in manga.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Talk about gender in manga. we have Namame. Like, definitely just way more diverse warriors in general in Gamboo. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Not all hot boys.
Not all hot boys. That's what's up.
And they're not the villains.
Yeah.
Because
it's true.
weren't all hot boys, but they were the villains.
Yeah, they some of them had wacky designs and wacky powers, and it's like, ooh, oh no, but you're bad. So that's just weird, kinky sexual stuff. Like, you know, because you're weird and bad, you know. Yeah. So we've evolved a little bit now. Now we have new whole forms of personhood happening with sentient rocks. Unfortunately, we don't really know that much about Namame yet. I mean, we do know a lot. Got a nice little story that had no dialogue, but conveyed a lot of emotion. Of Namame being like, hey, humans look cool. I'm gonna try to look like a human. And humans were like, please don't do that uncanny valley crap. We do not like that. Get out of here. Then the Oracle took him in, yeah. And he was very sad that she died. Yes, and they've only recently been able to hear Namame's voice, right? Like, both Takiko and Uruki have started to hear. After Namame got split in two, one part with each of them, you know, Namame is the most powerful one here, I'm just saying. Like, forget all
yeah, I mean, he's basically invulnerable.
Yeah, right? Like,
he's also adorable.
Yeah. I want to, like, have one. But we do have some more hot boys. We have Akitsu. He's a hot boy. No? Wow. Okay.
I mean, no, he's pretty, but he's also, like, super boring.
Oh, he is boring. Yeah. His best moment was in the brothel.
He has a gay ass.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Wow. I didn't expect us to go there. Okay.
Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. Wow, you guys just came blitzing in here with Breaking Bad and Code Geass. Like, wow.
And mullets and
Yeah, wow. This went in an unexpected direction.
this podcast is going to require a lot of cultural literacy to understand.
Yeah. It's just going to be like, I really hope you've read all the other FYs and watched a ton of other stuff. It's intense. Yeah, Hikitsu's boring. His best moment was in the brothel where, the Limdo and Takiko have become prostitutes. And they're like, oh, you've both been, a customer but once both of you. And Uruki's like, I'm gonna murder this person. And then Hikitsu's like, yo, what's up? That's his best moment.
By the way, prostitute is not a preferred term anymore, just so you know.
What's the preferred term?
Sex worker.
Sex worker. Okay, sex worker. Do other people like Hikitsu? He is one of the two that shows up in the original FY. That's his biggest claim to fame, really.
Any opinions on Hikitsu? Any whatsoever?
Any whatsoever? He's a dude.
He's sweet. He's okay. That's about it.
I like his water snakes. I thought they were dragons at first.
Oh, yeah, they're cool.
Oh, are they snakes?
Yeah.
I thought they were dragons too.
Well, not according to Wikipedia.
Well, Wikipedia is trash.
Maybe it misspelled snakes when it meant to
They
be
misspelled
dragons.
snake. Just confused two words. I don't know. Yeah, well, I don't have to listen to Wikipedia. We make our own fan fiction here. He has dragons. So that's that. And last but not least, well, I guess I didn't know. Well, I didn't put the evil people. That's because I don't care about the evil people. Is Inami. Caveat, not actually last. Yeah. I like that we get the... I like that in the notes, Watase is like, people wanted a female celestial warrior, and Uruki doesn't count, even though the character literally says woman. And so I made Inami, and now people are mad because she's old, and
What?
Watase is like, I don't care.
That's such a bad criticism.
That's a bad criticism. We can't have old ladies be the warrior.
Oh.
I love Inami.
Yeah.
She's great.
Inami's great.
Like the whole mother vibe going on.
Yeah. She fights with a pipe. It's wacky.
I do kind of like the whole brothel side story that they included, and they have all of these women who are victims of warring countries, warring areas. Anyway, they're fleeing unsafe situations, and their only viable option for employment is sex work. And yeah, I thought that was a really cool inclusion for the story to have.
Yeah, and it's got like some nuance and some complexity, because like the madams are both oppressed and oppressors at the same time. Like they didn't choose to get into this line of work, but they had to survive, and their survival unfortunately comes at the cost of a lot of other young women who they are not dissimilar from. And they're not like 100% forgiven in the narrative, but it's just complicated. I like that.
And we're shown that they're like trying their best with a crappy situation. They all fled one country to go to another, and they're like, but we want to go back to the other one. And then that's literally what convinces Inami to like join them, is them being like, listen, if you can go fight some bad guys so that we can go home someday, that is cool with us. We will hold down the fort. Just please let us go be sex workers in our proper country. So, it's like, wow, okay.
Didn't Inami lose her child as well, I think?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no, Nami's been through some stuff, man. No wonder she hates Takiko. It feels a little sad that I feel like a lot of the warriors don't get enough screen time, right, to have their stories like really, really fleshed out, and or at least like they all get initial stories, but then it's like, okay, and now it's the Uruki and Takiko show.
Yeah, there's like hints of like more stuff that she could have like gone into, but sadly she didn't have like time to just squeeze it in, I think.
Yeah, plus then we find out that Inami was like a handmaiden for like Uruki's family and
the
stuff,
Romans,
and it's like,
yeah.
oh, okay, yeah. She's been through some stuff. And when I say she's old, she's like not actually that old, right?
No, she's
Yeah, I don't think
not that old.
her age is given, but like she's probably like my age.
Oh, I thought she was like 40 maybe.
I'm just saying how they tend to draw people in anime and manga.
But come on, she looks older than Soren, and he's 28.
That's true. I mean, I guess since Watase is in her 30s, she's a little bit more forgiving.
Yeah. She's like, yes, Inami, 40, very old.
Yeah.
Also, how does Inami's hair work?
Magic.
Oh, okay. I looked it up. She's 41.
Oh, see? I was right. I love it.
Good job. You did it.
I did it. I won the Hunger Games, yes. Yeah, Inami and Hatsui have wacky powers. Inami's hair grows. Like, that's fine. And I actually like visually that it kind of worked as like a kinky like sex thing too when she was like holding up Takiko. Yeah, like a reverse kinky sex thing. Like you don't get to pull the hair pulls you.
I like that the powers are a little bit more creative this time around. Cause like it's like Fushigi is like his power is that he's really good at punching.
Yeah.
His power is that he's really good with a sword.
Yeah, it's boring. No, Watase was in one of the side notes, definitely Watase was like, okay, so I did some elements, but like then I was like, what if objects? What if just a random steel ball and hair? And I'm like, okay. You didn't have a theme for the rest of them? All right, that's fine.
You mean hair is not an element?
I mean, you know what? Watase could say it's an element and I'd be like, fine. Sure.
I'm pretty sure my hair is just a force of nature.
Yeah. What I don't know, man. It's just, you know, yeah. What are the other? Haggis steals everybody else's powers, so okay. I guess eventually he can make steel balls too. I don't know. Like, yeah, just the hair one and the like, yeah, make steel stuff. I'm like, okay, the steel thing I can see, you know, Avatar. We have Avatar in this, you know, we've seen that. But just the ball part of it, I'm like, I don't know. It's pretty weird. I feel like we'll bring up the evil people more later. So I'm not going to bring them up individually. But we're going to answer some listener questions more like directly in depth. So we did get 2. So the first one is from DWGNS. Yeah, I read all those letters right on Instagram. Yeah. So the question is, would you guys ever like to see an anime adaptation of this manga? Do you think it's possible? And what would you be looking forward to seeing if so? Okay, first of all, hell yes. I've always wanted an anime adaptation of this manga. Yeah. Oh, it's so hard. I want an anime adaptation of this manga.
I want to see it in motion.
Oh, yeah.
I would die. I would just be like my heart can't handle that, I don't think. Yeah, and just like, especially since original FY got like, you know, a pretty respectful anime adaptation for a shoujo manga in particular.
Well, back then they also like made shoujo anime, so unlike nowadays.
Yeah, now we don't get shoujo. What's a shoujo anime? I don't know what that is.
I think it's when there's a romance, like Toradora.
Whoa, news to me. Yeah.
Or Your Lie in April?
Yeah. Anything with a romance in it is just a shoujo. So.
Yeah, right? Because girls like romance.
Y'all are murdering me. Do we think it's possible?
I mean, it's possible.
The
question is more, is it likely?
Yeah.
One day, I believe.
I mean, it's possible because there's nothing in it that would be like, you can't animate this. But I don't think it's likely.
I don't think it's likely either. You know what? I said that about Fruits Basket too, so I would love to be very salty about this. Like,
that was great. Like days after.
Yeah, exactly. We recorded it, and then like 2 days later, it was like, actually, there's a new Fruits Basket anime. I'm like, wow, my mind is blown so hard right now. Just wild. All right. So, I mean, yeah, if they just suddenly announced that there was a Genbu Kaiden anime, I just don't even know how to comprehend that happening at all. What would I look forward to seeing if so? Like
everything?
Uruki doing anything. Yeah. Uruki being such a tsundere, blowing that child's paper boat in that water that one. Oh, I would love it. Hearing Takiko sing the song to him on the boat. Yeah.
Oh,
that's
be
a lovely
nice
song.
Yeah, to hear it.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
That would be good, right?
It would be a really nice moment.
Yeah.
I'd want to know what the theme song is. Whenever I was reading the manga, I just kept hearing the opening music for the Fushigi Yugi anime, and I was like, "This is such a good, what a good opening theme."
Good.
Oh,
yeah.
One of the all-time greats.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm like, I don't think Gamboo, like any opening, could live up to that original.
Yeah.
And that's fine because we still want it to have an anime. I don't care if it doesn't have a great opening. I just want it to be an anime, okay? You know, the only thing... Okay, see? I learned my lesson from Fruits Basket. Byakuya is coming out now, technically. It is on hiatus, but, I'm like, okay, yeah, if we were going to get an anime, like, final FY story, like, let's get it. Let's do it.
Let's make it happen.
But also, don't make it a 12-episode crappy anime, okay? Give it at least 36. That's all I'm saying. Okay, this other question is more in depth. I think we did go into some of compare and contrast. It's kind of hard not to just naturally compare and contrast original FY and Gamboo. But this is from @LumRamaYasha on Twitter, who is a host of the Manga Mavericks podcast. And it's, how does Gamboo's story compare and contrast to its contents and themes to the original series? And is it newbie friendly? All right. This story of it, is it newbie friendly? Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think there's really anything that you need to know. Like Byakuya, helps to be a little grounded in Genbu, but I don't think there's any really. There's a few callbacks, but like, who cares if you miss them?
Yeah, I appreciate that it's a prequel, but there aren't so many references to the original series that it feels like you're missing a lot of the story.
Yeah. I think whether you start with the original FY or you start with Gamboo, it's really just a matter of your own preferences. Like, you can start with either and it's fine. And I think, but definitely, yeah, just don't start with Byakuya, because that definitely has a million references to Gamboo in it, just from volume 1. So
Genbu and original FY, like, they're both really good works for like different reasons. So
yeah,
like they're both so good. Like, I feel like I can't really kind of like put one over the other. They're both just really good.
Yeah, I guess to me it's it's just really what you want, because they do have different feels, right? Like original FY is definitely more.
Are you trying to think of a nice way to say it?
Yeah, you can say it, Caitlin. This is nice.
It is more. Well, the word I always say is raw. It is.
Yeah, no, it's very much like a teenage like story, and like it's still valid. Like just because it's like for teens or younger girls, it's still, I think, really strong.
Yeah, well, and I think that sort of teenness is its strength because it is
Yep.
it is a very immediate feeling of dealing with a lot of the same issues that a lot of teens are dealing with the feelings of the conflicts with your friend or the anxiety and like the pressure that Miyaka has to deal with.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Like, whereas Genbu Kaiden is definitely a much more polished story, but it doesn't have that same sort of immediacy.
Like it's more well put together in some respects, but yeah, as you said, it's like it's not as intense.
Yeah.
It's also dealing with it's just like the other big thing about FY, I would say, is a lot more sexual awakening fears, like both sides. Like Yui gets raped, or thinks she gets raped anyway. And Miyaka, part of the problem is that she has sex with Tamahome and she has to be pure. Whereas that is definitely like there's a fair amount of nudity in Genbu Kaiden and a lot of
but it's
gender
never
funniness.
Sexual nudity.
Yeah, it's never like super sexualized, right? Yeah. So yeah, there's definitely just a lot less, and like the conflict with Takiko is like, not that it's not a teenage conflict, right? Like hating your dad, that's a valid teenage conflict.
I can relate to that.
yeah, nobody ever does that. So that's fine, but yeah, she's also dealing with some heavier, maybe not as universal things like losing her mom and stuff like that. And so
when I was reading original FY, like at that age, like 14, 15, a lot of the stuff was like, it just like resonated a lot, like really strongly at that age.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it, is Genbu Kaiden is not as resonant. It feels more like someone sat down and plotted out a story and that's good. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like it is good to have a story plotted out and have like consistent world with consistent rules. Like that is good. Whereas Fushigi Yugi was more like an outpouring.
It's like she's like riding on the emotions as she goes to like the different story arcs.
Yeah, so Genbu Kaiden feels like it was written by a 32-year-old, while Fushigi Yugi feels like it was written by a 22-year-old.
Yeah.
She was so young when she read it. When she wrote it.
Yeah.
Wasn't she like 18 when she started writing the original FY or something?
No, she started planning it when she was 18.
Oh, okay.
But you always have stories that you plan out before, like for years and years before you write them / never write them for 20 years.
Yeah, writing is hard.
I think she might have been 18 or 19 when she got her first break with the Pajama de Ojama.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I was like, she definitely started writing manga at 18 though, or something. Yeah.
She debuted at 18. And Fushigi Yugi, she was 22.
It's so young.
It was really okay. This is like slightly off topic. It was really sad in like one of the chat comments. She talks about her Yorkie passing away.
Oh yeah.
And I remember like the columns in the original where she first got it.
Oh.
I'm just like, oh no.
Oh, that's a terrible progression. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she mentioned like the Yorkie being like as small as like a slipper and like really cute, and my heart.
I really felt the passage of time there.
Yeah. You were like, nothing else has made me feel it as hard as this comment about the Yorkie.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah. Well, so to get more into the compare and contrast stuff, as we said, the warriors are just like way more diverse all around in terms of everything. I do think I've been trying to like work through this all day, and I don't think I quite nailed it. But with the evil people that we haven't talked about yet too much, and like larger themes. So I mean, there are, I guess, 4 main evil people. Two are just kind of lackeys, Fayan and Zia. Oh my god, I have no idea. Z,
I think.
Z.
If you look it up on the wiki, it's Shigi.
G?
So like G?
G.
Oh, I don't know.
This is fun. I'm gonna say Z.
My partner
Go on.
speaks Chinese, so I'm curious to like grab him over, but no, he's doing his own things.
Oh, next time ask him.
Yeah.
You know.
So Z and Fayan are 2 more lackeys, but they both have some missing appendages. I'll go with that.
Yeah.
To be fair, Fayan had all of his appendages at the beginning, and then Uruki took off his arm, so I don't know. He deserved it. I don't know. Like,
You're so quick to defend him. Everybody else, you're like,
I
oh,
love
so
him.
terrible, but Uruki can do no harm.
I mean, to be fair, Fayon was attacking them.
Yeah. Listen, Uruki is everything I want all the time. Like, I want to be him. I want to be in a relationship with him. I just everything. Boy, girl, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So then Haggis, who is actually the last celestial warrior, half of the last celestial warrior. It's complicated. It gets
Goddamn
weird.
twin thing.
Yes.
Yeah, twins.
You hate this twin thing?
Because he has a twin.
Yeah.
Who's the other half.
Yeah, you hate this trope.
I hate this trope.
Okay, that's fair. But he is blind. And then there's King Temden, who is Uruki's dad, who appears to have some severe degenerative disease where he is like losing all of his limbs. He has some like iron arm. Can't use his legs? Question mark. Something of that nature. So all of these people, yeah, like I think it's very interesting that all the evil people have like something physically missing about them, whereas the warriors are all given special powers. But in the end, you know, they're all trying to like achieve the same thing, which is to either escape or defy their fate in some way, because they're all destined to like die or kill somebody, or they're like, oh no, if I'm a celestial warrior, does that mean when the priestess comes, it means something bad is happening to the country? So does it mean that the country is going to die? Am I part of this series of like the country being destroyed? I don't want that. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, but why are all the evil people like disabled? And you know, part of it is they also be like everybody kind of in trying to defy their fate, like again, as per usual, runs into it. So or people who have preconceived notions about all these people, like then turn them into the thing that they already thought they were, right? Like this terrible cyclic cycle thing. So I think that's very interesting, way more interesting than
It's very Greek tragedy.
Yeah, very yeah. And I like it more than the original FY. Like I think I went into this in the original our first 2 podcasts too about the original FY. It's just that I don't really understand why the Seryu people are always evil. Which is true in this too. Like Kudong or whatever is the land of Seryu. Like the priestess isn't going to show up, but whatever. Same deal. And I'm just always like, I've never liked the like 2 priestesses show up, but one is good and one is evil thing. That has always like bothered me in some way.
It's a bit of strange world building, I think. Like it.
Yeah, I didn't really pick up on that pattern. Huh. I mean, I don't have. That's weird.
Yeah, right? So I've been trying to like work through it. It's kind of hard because we're only talking about the first half of something, right? Like I think the themes will become clear in the second half when they have a culmination, right? Like of yeah, but to me it's just like I like this dynamic between the evil people more than like one priestess is good, one priestess is bad and has like a bunch of wacky looking warriors, except Nakago, who still sucks, and and like Tsuboshi and Amaboshi. The normal ones, the normies. Can we talk about Watase's? Okay, so Watase is still in the side notes was like, I still love Nakago, but also she loves Z. She loves Z. Why?
That's unsurprising.
I was just like, of course, Z.
Nakago is not a good dude. He creeps on Yui so much.
He gaslights her. He
gaslights her so bad.
He's bad. He's abusive.
He's like 25 years old and she's like 15, 14 and she's like, ugh, no thank you.
I know.
Well,
but
he creeps on her specifically to control her too.
Yeah.
It's all bad. It's all bad times.
Watase loves him though, so
yeah, we all have flaws.
We all have, She wants to be Tomite if she was a boy, and she loves Z and Nakago, and I'm like, okay, these are choices. These are at least Z. I'm always like Z looks like a girl though, so that's fun. I love them gender non-conforming ones, Yeah, as we mentioned, like there's way more conflict about being a celestial warrior in Genbu, like about whether that's good, that's bad, how much of their given identity can be like how much of their identities can be separated from like this is my celestial identity, this is my given identity, and I want to like they want to keep them separate to some degree, especially when they were like the priestess won't come. Oh no, the priestess is here. Oh, we never wanted that. Yeah, there's still a lot of conflict. I don't know if there's so much a theme, but there's a lot of conflict between like can you love a boy who lives in a book? that's complicated.
Yes, you can.
You can.
No, because ask me.
I'm so in love with a boy in a book.
Watase made it happen.
Yeah. Uruki's like top book boyfriends along with like Pita from the Hunger Games. Kuranosuke from Princess Jellyfish. Just give them all to me. Yeah. I think we'll have more interesting answers to compare and contrast in the second half too, for sure. Let me skim these Watase notes, make sure I didn't miss any important ones. Oh yeah. Well, there's still Watase being like, I don't like romance. And I'm like, well, then why are you so good at this Takiko and Uruki romance?
I really respect that. And you can see that in one of her notes. She says that Lord of the Rings was one of her one of the things that influenced her to write this series. And you see these like huge action adventure stories that Fushigi Yugi is, and they have romance in them, but you don't hear fans like, we need more romance, less plot. So like, I do understand where she's coming from, where she wants to build this the story, but doesn't necessarily want to have so much like romantic moments.
Yeah, I just thought it was very funny because the placement of that note was like, I don't want to do romance, and then the next scene is like some big Takiko and Uruki like being in love moment, and I was like, okay.
I kind of wonder if she meant I don't want to write a romance as opposed to like an epic adventure that has romance in it.
Yeah, that's fair. And her biggest influence from Lord of the Rings apparently was the dynamic between Soren and Limdo, and Soren is Uruki's like handler, like protector, savior of all his stupid teenage ways. Truly, she's like, I love that they're like master and servant, but also like brothers, and also just best friends. And I'm like, they're all the things all of the time. I see.
And she was like, I love you so much, Gamgee.
yeah. I was like, all right. Yeah, I don't know if you guys want to quickly take this gender quiz. The gender quiz is always funny, though.
Yeah, I looked at it. At first, I was like, this seems essentialist. And then I was like, wait a second.
No, Caitlin, all right, we're doing it just because you've never taken this glorious gender quiz, and it's the best, okay? All right. So we're going to answer these questions like we're Uruki, since, Tomite, in one of his low, crappy Tomite moments, was all, you don't even know what gender you are. And I was like, just slap him.
Pretty sure he has a solid idea of his gender.
Yeah.
Just sometimes his physical body changes.
Yeah, like, Uruki is very, like, nobody has ever, Takiko has never been like, oh, should I call him she when he is in female form? She's always just like, no, he. Yeah. All right, free online gender quiz.
Okay.
I guess we'll just try to come to a consensus for each statement. So the way this works is there's a statement, and then you strongly agree, strongly agree, neither agree nor disagree, strongly disagree. So we're Uruki. I frequently stand up for myself.
Strongly agree.
Strongly agree.
I am considerate of others' feelings. Not
neutral.
Neither agree nor disagree.
Yeah. I am a natural leader.
Agree.
Yeah, knowing where the story goes, I put agree. I am known for my sense of humor. No. But do I strongly know?
No.
I mean, I would say just plain disagree, because it's not like he's unfunny.
Yeah. He has his moments. I consider myself brave. Yes. To an almost foolish degree. I mean, definitely to a foolish degree. I can sometimes be aloof or withdrawn. Oh, yes.
Oh yes.
Strongly agree.
Strong. I can't. Is there something beyond strongly agree? Because we should really put that, like...
This question cuts straight to my very soul.
Yeah, this question, there should be that. Should be an option, because he just runs away with the wind anytime he wants to. I enjoy having a large circle of friends. No.
Disagree.
Yeah. Like, he's a soon, so like a little bit, but he pretends he doesn't want to. I am confident in my own abilities. Yes. Again, to an almost foolish degree. I have a very logical mind. No. I'm a very creative person.
Neither agree nor disagree.
Yeah, we don't
get
really
to see anything to that effect.
Yeah, we don't get to like judge him based on that. I sometimes feel that I am experiencing emotions. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Strongly agree. Sometimes he's like, oh, I love Takiko. That's dumb. I sometimes judge myself too harshly.
Yes.
Or,
yeah, strongly agree.
Okay.
The whole I'm a murderer thing.
Oh, yes. Well, I mean, he does murder people, but that's...
Well,
he's a serial killer, but he's a good serial killer. Yeah. I am generally an optimistic person. No. Nobody is that. I am frequently confused.
Agree.
Agree.
He's not. He's kind of a meathead.
All right. He's confused about certain things. My body is made of meat.
Yes.
Strongly yes, or just yes?
I mean, if we want to get technical, his body is made of ink and paper.
Well, that's true. Now I want to put strongly. No. Okay. I'll put agree. My body is.
He
made
doesn't
of metal.
know he's a character in a book.
He doesn't know he's a character in a book. Well, does he not know that yet? Oh, that's true. He's not Tama. He hasn't reached Tamahome levels of nonsense yet.
Existential crisis.
Yeah, he hasn't had that yet. My body is made of metal. No. My body is made of bits. I mean, technically.
I think that's like bits the computer term.
Yeah, but he was drawn on it.
No.
Fine. My body is incorporeal or diffuse.
No.
I have questioned my gender identity. I mean, surely at one point he's questioned his gender identity. I won't put strong up. I'll just put soft degree.
Okay.
Overall, my friends have more gender than I do. Hell no.
No, I would
He
argue that
definitely has
he
the
has much
most.
more gender than anyone else.
He has all of the gender, and that's why he's the best. I am all out of gender. No. He has all
Lots
the
of gender.
So much gender. Sometimes I look at myself in the mirror and wonder where my life went so wrong. Oh, yes. Yes. Strongly.
Yeah.
I have been made to feel unwelcome due to my perceived or actual gender. Yes, thanks, Tomite. Get out of here, Tomite. I am an existential threat to organized human civilization due to my perceived or actual gender.
I mean, if we're saying that, you know, his gender is celestial warrior,
Then
a lot of people think of him as a threat to organized human civilization.
Yeah, his celestial warrior is woman, so I mean, strongly agree. My body is a prison I will one day transcend.
I don't know.
I mean, I love his body, so I want to put disagree. I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. I mean, yes. Yeah, he's seen a lot of dead people. Like the Sixth Sense. Except he did it. This isn't even my final form. I mean, it's not. I agree. I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me. No. Disagree. I am ageless and undying. No.
He's
sadly not.
He's pretty mortal.
Yes, sadly not.
Unless you think about the fact that he is a character in a book.
Unless we think about how he's perpetually 16. Yeah. And so it's kind of, it's hard rereading this and being like, oh, I still love him a lot, but I am way older now than I was. And I initially loved him. And it was way more age-appropriate romance back then. All right. I am unstoppable. I simply cannot be stopped.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, he endures a lot. He gets wounded a lot, and he still just keeps on trucking. Okay, what gender am I? Your gender is Tubbs from Neko Atsumi. That's the whole
all
thing.
right. Sounds fair.
Sounds fair. You're welcome, Uruki. We figured it out for you. The best. Okay. Very quick shipping corner. Takiko had feelings for Mr. Osugi, and it was always doomed because he was married with a child who is Suzuno, who is the priestess of Byakuya. Seriously, this poor man. That's all I really have to say about that one. Then we get Tomite and Ayla, who again, he trapped in ice for a year.
Do not care.
Do not care. No cares at all given.
Lukewarm.
Wow. All right. Takiko and Uruki, we all agree.
Don't care.
No!
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
What a troll. Yeah, wait, do people still like Tamahome and Miyaka better? Caitlin seemed to prefer Tamahome.
Yeah. I mean, no, I don't necessarily like Miyaka and Tamahome better. I just know them better.
Oh, intriguing. Okay, yeah. You're like, I just spent more time with them. Psychoanalyzing.
You're emotionally invested in their relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and also, I mean, Miyaka goes through a lot more than Takiko in certain ways. So, like, I've had a chance to see Tamahome kind of step it up. There were some very sweet moments around that in Fushigi Yugi.
Yeah, well, I'm hopeful checking in on these couples in the second half will be a thing, because this is FY. We all know how FYs end.
And that is, honestly, that is one of the interesting parts about Genbu Kaiden to me, is knowing how it was going into it, knowing how it ends.
That's true.
Like, knowing that it is going to have a tragic ending.
Yeah, like in this world where we're like so hype about not being spoiled about anything anymore, it's very interesting to be like, well, yeah, you literally go into the story knowing the ending and kind of like nothing else though, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's really nice, yeah, to see how well of a story it is and how invested you are, even though, yeah, you know how it ends.
Yeah. No, like we went in knowing that Takiko dies at the end.
Yep.
And that two of the guys had ice powers and their character designs, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
It's really interesting going in with like limited knowledge.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Anyway, sorry, that was a diversion.
No, I think that's a good final thought. Thanks for listening to Shojo Tell. Comments, questions, constructive criticism, concerns? Want me to say less C words? / need to gush about your OTP? Email shoujoandtell@gmail.com or leave a comment on the episode's YouTube page. We're at Shojo and Tell on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram. Caitlin, where can people find you and your work on the internet?
Well, you can find some of my older writing on heroineproblem.com. I recently went back and read some of it, and oh boy, my writing style has changed a lot. You can find most of my recent work on Anime Feminist, and you can find some of my reviews on Anime News Network.
Yeah, I went and tried to skim some of your FY stuff just to remember details about the original FY coming into this.
I've written a lot of words about Fushigi Yugi.
You really have. It's a lot of words.
And I love all of them. I would write more.
Yeah, I fully expect you to write a lot more essays once we get all of the stories. Like, you have to go back and write just tons of essays, okay? That's what I expect from you. Sarah, where can people find you and your work on the internet?
You can find my website at sarah.pizza, and you can find me on Twitter at SALINSLEY.
Oh yes, I forgot you have this beautiful .pizza domain.
Yeah. Hot territory.
I don't know why more people haven't hopped on that trend yet. Zahra, where can people find you?
I have one article on AniFem and one upcoming, and you can find me on Twitter at YMazara.
Oh yeah, what's your upcoming article about?
It's about like an old shoujo series from like the 70s called Swan.
Oh yeah, very Swan.
It's very sparkly.
Very sparkly. Very 70s. Yes. Are you excited every time you see a new episode from us? If so, please consider leaving a rating on Apple Podcasts. This will help the show reach more hearts, or at least ears. Thanks again for listening. We'll be back next time for the second half of Fushigi Yugi Genbu Kaiden. Does it end in tragedy? Yes. Stay tuned to find out how sad we are. Until then, bye.